Let's get started with the first affirmative speaker.
Hi, my name is Clara, and I'm presenting the affirmative constructive argument along with my teammates Mia and Samantha. The resolution is that zoos should be banned. Under our definition, a zoo is a facility where wild animals are confined within enclosures and displayed to the public. Zoos do not include aquariums or animal entertainment centers, such as SeaWorld or circuses. Think, why do we have zoos? They are made to care for animals that can't live in the wild anymore. But the real reason for a zoo is to make serious money. Animals get beat, encounter viruses, and even are killed. Does this sound like the zoo you want? Absolutely not. According to David Williams Mitchell, there are at least 7,500 and up to 200,000 extra animals in the European zoos, and thousands of those animals are killed every year to save money. Surely the European zoos would be able to make more than enough money to support their own facility and their own animals. Animals come to zoos to support and protect themselves. These fluent countries should be able to support these animals. This is completely unacceptable. Animals would much rather be roaming free in the wild than to be trapped in a non-natural, gloomy space behind bars and in a zoo. Furthermore, Seattle's Woodland Park Zoo loaned an elephant named Chai to the Dickerson Park Zoo in Missouri, where witnesses saw her being beaten with bullhooks and pieces of wood for 2.5 hours. This is shocking evidence. Seattle Zoo must have knew what they were doing when they loaned Chai to the Dickerson Park Zoo. Relating back to my earlier reasoning, the more we are learning about zoos, the more we realize their real cause. Is the zoo's main purpose to make money, not to support the animals, but us? My second argument is that zoos should be banned because they do more harm than good for people. According to Society and Animals 2010, studies show that there was absolutely no immense evidence that zoos promote change in attitude, education, or interest in conservation in visitors. People come to see the animals, not to help them in any way. This makes sense because if people don't have a change in their attitude or their actions, then there really is no change at all. People might as well go home and watch a movie, because movies and zoos are both entertainment. Nothing happens in entertainment. People just sit and absorb. In addition, zoos claim that they send animals back into the wild. The animals have to be in zoos, but the people don't care. So there really is no chance of the animals going back into the wild again. Therefore, we affirm the resolution that zoos should be banned. Thank you.
Okay, just give me 1 second. Okay, the first negative speaker.
Hi, my name is Emily, and I'm presenting the negative argument along with my teammates Leo Cruz and Scotland. Our argument is that zoos should not be banned. First, zoos should not be banned because they do more good than harm for animals. Many of today's zoos no longer take animals from the wild, since most animals are actually bred from other animals in captivity. This means that animals in the wild can continue to breed and live in their natural habitats. About 20% of all animal species that live in the wild are faced with extinction because of human factors like pollution and poaching and deforestation. This shows that animals are a lot safer in zoos and they will not be endangered from the same human factors as in the wild. Our second argument is that zoos should not be banned because they benefit people. A zoo allows visitors to see what animals really do and look like, unlike a single one or exaggerated section you might see on TV, YouTube, or in a magazine or movie. That means that you're better off going to the zoo and watching an elephant or do what it does during the day for as long as you like. Zoo visitors learn about the animals through zookeeper chats, zoo volunteer signs, and exhibits. This shows that we get lots of information without needing to go on a safari or, for example, to see the animals in the wild. Therefore, the evidence does not support the resolution. Zoos should not be banned. Thank you.
second affirmative.
Can we please have 30 seconds? My name is Samantha, and I am presenting the affirmative rebuttal argument supporting the resolution that zoos should be banned. Our first argument is that zoos do more harm than good for animals. Animals in zoos are not free to express their natural instincts, including roaming for hundreds of miles, breeding with the mate of their choice, or killing their own prey. There is no possible way that zoos can make a realistic habitat for animals. For example, on average, elephants roam for hundreds of miles per day. But they can't do that in zoos. As a consequence, their lifespan is shorter. According to All About Animals, many zoos in captivity develop zoochosis, which is an abnormal behavior like pacing, vomiting, harming themselves, or excessive licking. Animals do this because they are not in their normal habitat. Do we really want animals to live like that? If it were humans, the government would do something about it, but not for the animals. So many animals die from zoochosis. The symptoms are sad and so shocking. Our second argument is that zoos do more harm than good for people. If zoos are teaching children anything, it's that imprisoning animals for our own entertainment is acceptable. I remember going to the zoo as a small child and seeing happy animals in pretty habitats. When I look back now, I see depressed animals in basically prison cells. I know when I see animals having weird behavior, they are not happy. There are many incidents between zoo animals and humans where humans are injured. When the humans are injured, it is because the animals have zoochosis. This is so shocking. When you think of animals, you think of sweet creatures. But in the zoo, they are anything but sweet. In the wilderness, they would be much more happy, therefore more friendly. Therefore, we affirm the resolution that zoos should be banned. Thank you. Hi, my name is Scout, and I'm arguing the negative rebuttal against the resolution. My argument is that zoos should not be banned. First, zoos should not be banned because they are good for animals. Zoos that breed animals help keep species from going extinct. The Guardian, Why Zoos Are Good, says that zoos breed animals to help keep from going extinct. Successful breeding programs, Chinese and European zoos bred an Asian type of deer that had become extinct in the wild. 4 of those deer were eventually released back into the wild, where they are now self-sustaining. This shows that zoos are good places to keep species from going extinct. Zoos provide a way to bring extinct species back. This proves that zoos are good for animals. Animals in zoos are healthier. They aren't killed by predators or injured, and illnesses are treated, and they don't die of drought or starvation. This shows that zoos help animals survive. If the animal is living somewhere where the climate or hunting or pollution is making it hard to live, they can go to a zoo and are helped to survive. They can receive help and treatment that they would not otherwise get. My second argument is that zoos are good for people. In 1838, the scientist Charles Darwin spent time in the London Zoo with orangutans and said that observing their interaction was necessary to his understanding and development of the theory of evolution. Zoos give people a chance to see and understand the natural world. This leads to discoveries in science and nature that could not be possible otherwise. Just like Charles Darwin studied evolution at a zoo, zoos help humans further our understanding of the world around us. Zoos educate and motivate humans to care for all wild animals,
by giving them direct contact with the animals, which is more powerful than simply watching a movie or reading a magazine article about animals. It is hard to feel empathy for an animal on your computer. Also, people do not have a chance to see animals in the wild. When you go to a zoo, you can see animals face to face and it makes you care about them. I know this personally because I visited zoos many times and it has taught me to care about many different kinds of animals. While my opponents say that there should be zoos, there shouldn't be zoos, there should not be zoos. In fact, zoos are one reason many of the people here today care about animals in the first place. Therefore, zoos should not be banned.
Okay, where is Hannah?
Arguments in favor of the resolution. Today, my teammates Clara and Samantha and I have proved by the evidence that all zoos should be banned. First, we have proved that zoos do more harm than good to animals. For example, at the Oregon Zoo, a 5-year-old baby elephant named Rose 2 suffered 176 gashes and cuts after repeatedly being beaten with a bullhead. If zoos really cared about the animals and to decrease extinction, they would provide a nicer life for the animals. Also, to dedicate the money they earn and have a bigger budget for the animals. This makes sense because zoos don't really make the money. The animals do. If you took the animals out of the zoos, it wouldn't be a zoo. Zoos sell older animals for science experiments that will cause them to die. They also sell them to game farms so the zoos make money for the same cause. One day, an animal was found lying down dead for a week because the staff members were not caring enough to cure its sickness. Did you think animals were in a wonderland? No, this is animal prison. In addition, elephants in the wild travel as far as 30 miles to fresh green feel the air every day anymore. Every time I have gone to the zoo, most of the animals have been sleeping. They aren't as entertaining to people if they are in a small space and no room to walk even 7 steps. I went to the zoo another time and there were 2 animals locked up in the same cage that was not even as big as an average-sized swimming pool. These animals in that cage were as big as an average tabletop, separately. They were not doing anything interesting. All humans who I saw pass did not stay for even 1 minute. If animals were outside being free, humans could still explore the animals in their natural habitats. They say that animals are only safe in zoos because of humans' pollution. But I disagree because the animals have nothing to do with this. They don't want to have pollution and bad climate changes that they can't survive in. This is not their fault. Therefore, the evidence supplies that there should be no more zoos. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Third negative? Okay.
Hi, my name is Leo, and I am presenting the negative team's final argument. Through evidence presented by my teammates, Ava Gemley and Scout Noble, and I, we will convince you that zoos should not be banned. First, zoos should not be banned because they do more good than harm for animals. Zoos rehabilitate wildlife and take in exotic pets that people no longer want or are no longer able to care for. This shows that zoos rescue animals who don't know how to live by themselves or are hurt or sick. Without zoos, those animals would die. This shows that zoos care about the animals and don't just take them from the wild, but they rescue them. If we are to save many wild species and restore and repair ecosystems, we need to know about how key species live, act, and react. Zoos give people a place to observe animals and learn about them. To do this in the wild, it's so much more expensive. Also, just finding those animals is harder, and they're not going to stay in one spot so you can observe. Also, learning about these animals would help us fix their homes. For example, in Antarctica, the glaciers are melting. If we learn more about these animals, we can help repair their ecosystems. They say that animals have less space, but I disagree because captivity is important for education and an authentic experience. My final argument is that zoos should not be banned because they are good for people. Seeing an animal in person is much more memorable experience than seeing an animal nature documentary. For example, I have a cat named Reggie, who I spend a lot of time with, and I observe him hunt, groom himself, sleep, jump, and play. This helps me to learn about what he likes and doesn't like, so I can become closer with him. Going to zoos can do this same thing and lead kids to growing up and making the zoo more awesome. Zoos are a tradition, and a visit to the zoo is a wholesome family activity. This means that families can enjoy an experience at the zoo and make great memories and connections to the animals. And this is something a family can do no matter how much money they have. It's not expensive, and anybody can share the experience of seeing animals from all around the world. The other way you could do this is actually go all around the world, which most families cannot do. And also, going as a family gives everybody a chance to bond and just be a family. Therefore, zoos are good to both animals and humans.
Great. So I believe that means our debate's come to a close. Am I right? You guys stay where you are for a minute. I'm going to give you some feedback. Just give me a second to gather my thoughts together. Team collaborator. I think when you got up and you spoke, you were really, you really looked around and you looked at me. Your eyes were like animated, and I thought that was great. And that you also used great inflection on words like should be banned, you said. Your arguments were clear and concise, and you must have done your research because I've never heard what zoo caucus. I've never heard of that before. I would say, that one thing I would like to see from you more is to slow down. I know that this is a big pressure event, but just take it easy, slow down, take a breath every now and then. Make sure the audience gets your point, okay? So Mia, also, you guys all must have really practiced your inflections because you used a lot of things like cause them to die and just, you may make like, oh no, I don't want that to happen to animals, right? Animal prison, you used analogies that were like made you really think about like what it's like to be an animal in a zoo, like the Rapunzel comparison was good. I really like the stories you told. It was nice. Again, I would say for you, I would do more eye contact, look up from your paper, and again, same thing as the others, just slow down, take it easy, take a breath. Okay? Ava? Let's see, I thought that you were really good cooperating with the team and working with the team. When you delivered your speech, you also used inflections well. And I would say what I would like from you is more, just smile, and I know that this is a lot of pressure, but I think make a smile every now and then. And clearly, there was a little bit of mumbling, so just make sure you watch that the next time. But overall, I think you did a great job. And then Scouts, right? I thought you had some very clear points about preventing extinction and making sure that animals are healthy and that the animals in the zoo are healthier and that they have better survival rates. I thought you argued well against the other team's points. And I would say for you to just look up and improve your eye contact, work on that, and I guess my overall comment is to slow down too. Seems like that. And then Leo, you're great, and you always ask for a minute, make sure you work with the team. I liked how you mentioned your teammates in your speech, personally. I thought that was great. You also used your story comparison by mentioning your cat, which I really liked. Your points were very clear, and you also used your hands sometimes, which was really great to see. And then negative-wise, honestly, I think you did a really great job overall. You didn't need to slow down. I think your pace was really good, and I thought that you had good eye contact. You also looked around the audience very well too. So I would just say keep up the good work. All right. So at this time, I think that ends our round. Thank you again for all your hard work. You can go back to the cafeteria and